Have you ever felt the pain, like 1,000 knives stabbing into your brain? Or felt like your brain was imploding in on itself? Or felt like every single fiber of your brain was on fire? Well, I have. But only once, and I wouldn't wish that pain on anyone. My name is Isabella Gilmartin. I had meningitis when I was 7 years old. One of the best weeks of my life turned into one of the worst. The week before I went on a few-day vacation with my grandparents, we went to a basket factory, a cave, an ice cream factory, and a castle. While we were at the castle, I started to feel ill, but it didn't feel serious at all. As we walked around the castle, my grandmother sat me down on a red velvet couch behind a red velvet rope. We got yelled at, and so we moved on. But shortly after that, things got much worse, in just a matter of days. It started like a normal day. I was at my grandparents' house, because both my parents were at work, and I was watching TV in my grandpa's room, and my headache came on so suddenly, with no warning. I tried to pass the time until it faded like a normal headache would, but the pain got worse and worse, until I finally screamed out in pain. My grandpa came back to check on me, and by that time I was curled up in a fetal position, with a pillow over my head, trying desperately to block out the pain. They called my mom, who worked at the local emergency room, as a registered nurse. Along the way, I felt sick the entire car ride there, and by the time we were close by, they had to pull over the car because I had to get sick. As I walked into the emergency room, my mom greeted us, and was wondering what had happened, since the last time she saw me, I was perfectly fine. As their doctor examined me, they worried more and more exactly what disease I had, so they placed me in isolation. It seemed so cold and lonely in there, and eventually they learned I had viral meningitis. The other option would have been bacterial, which oftentimes leads straight to death. They took me out once they knew exactly what was wrong, and when they ran a spinal tap, they had to do it 3 times. The first doctor thought that he would be able to do it on his own, but after 3 unsuccessful times of stabbing that long needle into my spine, he eventually gave up, and he called a pediatric doctor to have him do it. He got it on his first try. I was only in the hospital for 4 days, but the pain I experienced was just unbearable. Once home, each and every time I had a headache, my mom would worry, asking me if it compared to the pain I felt when I had meningitis. Through my entire experience, I remember the pain, the intolerable sickness, and the feel of that red velvet couch on my fingertips. And that's the story of a sick little girl.